8 seconds. Seriously, think about how incredibly brief that is. It's barely enough time to take a deep breath or, take a sip of your coffee, but in the hyper-competitive, fast-paced digital ecosystem we're all living in today, 8 seconds isn't just a fleeting moment. It is an absolute eternity, and more importantly, it's the exact, incredibly strict window of time you have to deliver a premium, unforgettable experience. If you miss the mark, they are gone, forever.
Seconds. Literally, that is the whole ballgame. Because when we look at modern content creation, capturing and actually keeping an audience's attention, it isn't just a matter of luck or having good vibes. It's a precise, mathematically calculated science. Every single frame, every pixel, every audio cue has to be engineered to stop the viewer's thumb from swiping away. So today, we're going to examine the exact genetic makeup of what keeps people glued to their screens when they literally have a million other things fighting for their focus.
So, welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited to get into this with you. Our mission today is to completely deconstruct this highly condensed, fascinating piece of source material. It's basically a 150-word prompt, specifically designed to generate a viral 8-second YouTube Shorts quiz. But honestly, calling it a prompt doesn't do it justice. It is an absolute masterclass in modern audience retention. We are going to break down this blueprint second by second and uncover the brilliant psychology behind the perfect hook.
Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, the 8-second blueprint.
To really understand how to control attention, we have to look at the underlying structure. The source material here acts as this strict, unyielding chronological roadmap. It proves that you absolutely must map out the viewer's psychological journey ahead of time. Look at how these precious 8 seconds are mathematically sliced into specific timestamp blocks. We start with the hook at exactly 0 seconds. Then, 0.8 seconds in, we get the setup. At 2.5, the options drop. By 3.2, the suspense kicks in, and finally, at 6.2 seconds, we hit the payoff. Guys, this isn't random. This sequence is a calculated algorithm engineered specifically to hijack the brain's reward center. It's a rapid-fire roller coaster of tension and release.
Moving right along to Section 2, designing the premium aesthetic.
Before we even start looking at the timeline, we have to talk about the environment. Because before a single question is asked or a single sound effect plays, the viewer is making a subconscious, split-second judgment about your quality. Look at these strict aesthetic requirements from the source text. A 9:16 vertical format is mandatory for mobile, obviously, but notice the highly specific adjectives used here. We're talking subtle, glowing world map lines, bright neon blue and cyan accents, and floating particles over a dark navy to blue gradient. These aren't just arbitrary design choices. By getting this meticulous, the prompt ensures the digital space instantly mimics the production value of a high-end TV quiz show. It establishes authority and premium quality on contact.
And that brings us to the overarching style goal. This premium TV quiz show style relies heavily on modern motion graphics and animated light streaks. But the absolute secret sauce here? The explicit instruction for a constant, slow camera push-in throughout the entire duration. This is genius. That continuous slow zoom creates this physical, totally subconscious feeling that you are being pulled directly into the screen. You literally can't look away because the visual field is continuously moving toward you.
All right, Section 3, the instant hook.
Now that the stage is set, let's step chronologically into the action. We're looking at the first 2.5 seconds. This is the critical window where the viewer's sensory attention has to be immediately and forcefully arrested. If you lose them here, the rest of the blueprint literally doesn't matter. Between 0.00 and 0.8 seconds, this glowing title animates dead center. Guess the country. But it's not just visual. The source explicitly pairs this with an energetic whoosh sound and some really upbeat electronic music. It is an immediate sensory explosion. It's basically telling the brain, wake up, we're playing a game right now. Now, what's genuinely fascinating about this next phase is the math. For the 0.8 to 2.5 second mark, the prompt demands a perfectly accurate, crisp, undistorted flag of Japan. But check out the screen real estate. It has to occupy exactly 40% of the screen. No more, no less. That leaves a crucial 60% for negative space and the UI text asking, which country is this? This calculated use of negative space ensures the viewer isn't visually overwhelmed. The hierarchy is perfectly balanced so your brain registers the core subject in a fraction of a second. Right on the heels of the flag, between 2.5 and 3.2 seconds, the options drop in. 4 rounded answer boxes animate upward: South Korea, Japan, China, Thailand. The prompt insists on large, perfectly readable text with soft glow effects. It's entirely frictionless.
The viewer doesn't have to squint or search around the screen. The potential answers are served up seamlessly on a silver platter. It instantly transitions them from just passively watching into actively playing along.
Which brings us to Section 4, architecting the suspense.
Okay, we are shifting into the crucial second half of the blueprint. We've hooked them, we've given them the options. Now, the prompt artificially generates rapid, unyielding tension to make absolutely sure they stay to the end. Pay close attention to this sequence happening between 3.2 and 6.2 seconds. I want you to feel the pacing of this. First, a glowing circular timer appears. Second, it counts down 3, 2, 1. Third, a realistic ticking sound plays while the background music actively builds. And finally, that camera zoom we talked about, it's still doing its slow push toward the flag. This is the precise anatomy of escalating tension. It is a manufactured adrenaline rush, keeping the audience completely locked in as the clock runs out.
And finally, Section 5, the flashy payoff.
Look, you cannot build that much tension without providing an incredibly satisfying release. And that brings us to the climax of this whole explainer. At exactly 6.2 seconds, the tension snaps with a bright flash transition. This is such a brilliant editing technique. It acts as a total visual palate cleanser. It literally yanks the viewer's focus away from the countdown and directs it immediately to the resolution. It's basically a digital drum roll.
So the crazy part is how layered this resolution actually is. Look at this multi-layered visual reward system the prompt demands for the correct answer. Option B turns bright green. A glowing outline appears. A massive animated checkmark drops in. To kill any visual distraction, the incorrect options instantly fade to 50% opacity. And the absolute cherry on top? Confetti bursts from behind the correct answer. This sensory payoff satisfies the viewer's anticipation on multiple neurological levels. It just feels intensely rewarding to watch, whether you guessed it right or wrong. And we conclude with this exact final line from the source material, popping up right at the 8-second mark. Did you get it right? This isn't just a friendly sign-off. It is a highly calculated engagement loop. It prompts this internal dialogue, basically urging the viewer to validate their intelligence by heading straight to the comment section or just letting the clip loop to experience that rush all over again. It's the absolute perfect ending to a perfectly engineered 8 seconds. So think about how much obsessive thought went into this tiny fraction of time. And ask yourself, how can you apply this level of precision to the things you create? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.